And he was the person that encouraged me, who journeyed with me, who strengthened my faith instead of like taking away my love from the Lord.
Hello! Ito ang medyo seryosong podcast. This is Gianne speaking. At wala akong masabi kundi, hi! We're finally here. So I am with one of my ates. And she's been doing this podcast for years. And honestly, ate, you're one of the people who encouraged me to push this show.
Aw.
So I'm so happy to have you here and have this
Yay!
conversation
I'm so
with you.
excited.
Yay! And we're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about life and career. And a woman who doesn't have introduction. Give it up for Joyce Pring-Triviño.
Hello!
Yeah, pwede tayong pumalakpak, guys.
Hi.
Para malaman nilang napakarami natin sa
Ayun,
studio.
ang dami. Grabe, 200 people. I can't believe it, G. And all for me. Wow.
All for you
I'm
and
so honored.
all for
Thank
this
you.
episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Oh my goodness, ito na. I witnessed your media journey ate from well I was still a student.
Yes.
So I saw how you transitioned from being a content creator to being in the media and then getting married and then now having kids.
Yes.
I am just amazed how God is really moving in your life and how He's using you throughout all of the seasons. So ngayon, bilang ako ay isang single woman
Yes.
na merong mga katanungan about relationships, that's what we're going to talk about
Okay.
in this first part of the podcast. Meron kasi akong laging tanong paano ba malalaman if he's the one? Because people are like, pag tinatanong ko sila, malalaman mo lang when you see the person, you just know.
Mali yun, mali yun.
Diba?
Char.
Hindi ko sure paano, I just know. I've said he's the one more than once. So parang ako, how do I trust my judgment with that? So it's something na parang, you just know. How do you just know? So we're going to talk about that in this show. Hello, may music ako. Ayan, medyo seryoso lang naman to. So, ayun, so we're going to talk about that. In this part of the show, a lot of single women are overwhelmed with a flood of advice online from different
Yes.
people. And we know naman, hindi naman kasi pare-parehas tayo ng mga kwento, hindi tayo pare-parehas ng background. So we cannot just like take someone's word for it. Na, okay, I'll know if he's the one, if this or that. So we need to really discern it coming from not just feelings, but also wisdom. And of course, word from the Lord. So now, ito na yung tanong ko for you, Ate Joyce. How did you know that Kuya Juancho is the one?
Starting it off with a big question,
Yes,
no?
the big
Grabe yung
question.
kaagad. Parang hindi pwedeng buong podcast na, no? But I just wanted to say, Gianne, kanina when you mentioned that I'm one of the people that encouraged you, the reason why I did that is because you have a gift for speaking. You have a gift for your voice is a gift to the world, and I feel like God is using it to bless so many people. So I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. And I love talking about this topic because it comes from the perspective of somebody who wasn't no boyfriend since birth. I always say on my podcast that I was a serial dater. As in, ano talaga ako, but I mean, I had a boyfriend early on, parang 14 pa lang ako, may boyfriend na ako. And then I didn't stop dating until I turned 24. So how did I know that Juancho was the one? It's a question that people always ask me, and it's a very simple but complicated question to answer. Kasi, yun nga ilang beses ko na bang nasabi yun na
Siya
he's
na.
the one, siya na talaga. But what does the Bible say? The Bible says that the heart is deceitful, meaning that we cannot depend on our hearts alone to make decisions. And I had to learn that the hard way. Sometimes I think about how I hope I didn't give my heart away so easily. Because I felt like when I finally met Christ, when I was 23, 24, and I surrendered my life to Jesus, I felt like ito pala yung love na hinahanap ko all those times, that I was giving pieces of myself to other people because I thought that that was love. I thought that was love. And the only time that I realized na Juancho na talaga was the one was ang dami niyang hurdles na pinagdaanan
Ooh.
from my own side, but also 3 things. Okay, 3 easy things. The first one is that I set clear boundaries that were very difficult for him to agree to if he weren't serious about me.
I love that.
So before I met Juancho, the funny thing was my prayer was already, Lord, I'm so happy and satisfied in you. I don't even want to get married.
Ooh.
Ganun na, kasi sobra yung bubog ko sa romantic relationships na it always hurt me, lagi na lang akong heartbroken, so bakit ko pa siya papasukin? Lagi lang naman akong nasasaktan at mali naman palagi yung ginagawa ko. So, I came to a point where I just surrendered everything to Jesus. I broke up with my boyfriend that time. And then I said, no, I'm gonna be single. I don't want to get married anymore. And then, when nililigawan ako ng gusto manligo sa akin, like ko sinasabi yung set boundaries, clear boundaries ko, which is boundaries that I will stand by and boundaries that I will expect you to stand by. I want you to, love the Lord more than me. Sinabi ko yung mga bagay na yung kay Juancho. At pumayag siya.
Wow, come on. Whoa. He wasn't like scared of, oh my gosh, that's too much.
And it's funny because, diba sabi nila, isulat mo yung mga gusto mo na mapapang-asawa mo. But you also have to make that clear. Because if it's the right person, they won't be scared with your boundaries. They'll actually...
Okay.
They'll actually respect it, diba? So that was the first one. The second was, it's a weird thing that we did, but I asked to pray and fast from Juancho.
Wow.
So, when we were getting to know each other already, tas nararamdaman ko na, okay, nagkaka-feelings na ako, ganyan. I fasted from him, meaning I didn't want to talk to him for 3 days to 1 week, ganyan. Ayoko siya makausap because I wanted to hear from the Lord clearly without the distraction of my feelings for him. Kasi, if you're attracted to someone, you have to be realistic about it, na I can feel my heart being swayed towards a direction specifically because I'm attracted to this person and not because the Lord is calling me there. So if that's the case, then I'll fast. And I'll fast from him and I'll pray about this. Para clear yung mind ko talaga. So nung ginawa ko yun, grabe yung answers ni God. For example, is it okay? I keep on yapping.
Yes, it's okay. I'd love that.
I'm not used to being on this side of the podcast.
We love that. We love that. Please do. Please do.
I'm supposed to ask a question here somewhere.
This is gonna be a little bit different for you.
This is a little weird. No, but I remember I was praying about it. Tapos ang daming nangyari. Parang nagka-problem ako sa family. Namatay yung lolo ko. And he was there. When we were praying about it, may isang very stark time na we were going to church already kasi bagong Christian si Juancho nito when we got together. So hindi pa talaga siya Christian, tapos he started going to church with me. And then I was praying and fasting na from him and I was praying, Lord, tanggalin mo na si Juancho kasi I don't want anybody who's gonna take me away from you.
Yeah.
And then, nag-uunang hirit kami nung time na yon. The next day, we had unang hirit in a swimming pool. Tapos yung tao na nandun, si Coach Angelo Lozada, isa siya sa mga parang church leader sa malapit na church kay Juancho. Tapos it was like divine intervention lang na biglang na-invite si Juancho doon sa church na yon. Tapos nagkaroon siya ng sarili niyang community. And then he told me, out of nowhere, he said, I want to go to church by myself because I want to know if I'm doing this for you or if I'm really getting to know Jesus because I love him. So God answered the prayers. Diba? Thank you, Lord. Boundaries, prayer, and fasting. And third and finally, I respected and honored the spiritual leaders that God put in my life. And for me specifically, that was my D group leader, si Bliss. And the answer from Bliss was not a stark no. Okay. She said, pray about it, diba? Bring him to church, set your boundaries, protect your heart, just keep praying about it. That's the first one. Pangalawa, our pastor, si Pastor Jess, sabi niya, okay, gusto niyo mag-date? Sige, 4 months na kayo nagde-date, mag-premarital counseling na kayo. So, nag-premarital counseling kami kaagad kasi sabi ng pastor namin, it's either you get married or you're gonna break up anyway. So might as well do that right now. Get to know each other, ask the hard questions, and then if talagang hindi kayo match, at least, 'di ba? At least hindi nyo nasaktan yung isa't isa na sobrang tagal ng investment nyo sa
Oh,
isa't
yeah.
isa bago na engage na kayo't lahat-lahat. Tapos tsaka nyo malalaman na we're such opposites pala. We don't want the same things.
Yeah.
So, those are, I feel like it sounds so radical when I say it out loud. But that's how I knew that Juancho was the one. Because I loved Jesus more than Juancho, and I didn't want to lose my relationship with Christ for the sake of my relationship with Juancho.
Ooh.
And he was the person that encouraged me, who journeyed with me, who strengthened my faith instead of like taking away my love from the Lord. And I saw him blossom also, like in his own walk with God. So that's a very long explanation.
But that is such a good answer. We need that. Me and the ladies listening to this podcast, even the guys, they need to hear that. Because minsan kasi, ang superficial nung sagot na, malalaman mo lang. Tapos, I mean, there are people talaga na may ganon. Na
Yeah,
parang,
yung parang first.
first pa lang, alam ko, ito na
yun
yun.
na yun.
Pero parang, paano kung hindi ganon? Or like, paano kung ako walang slow-mo experience? Because there are other people who experience that, which is great, parang movie, no? Pero it's also encouraging to hear from someone who experienced this, na sometimes hindi siya parang super dali lang eh. But you have to be clear na, okay, ito yung gusto ko, ito yung boundaries ko.
Yeah.
There's wisdom, diba? There's wisdom, and may mga tanong din ako nare-receive na parang, ate, paano mo malalaman na galing kay God? Both for career and for relationship. My answer to that always is, if it's pulling you away from God, definitely that's not from God. If this person or this opportunity will lead you to loving them more than how you love God, obviously that's not God.
Yeah.
So, this with this story that you shared, alam mo talagang galing kay God because it pulled you closer to God. And you didn't even have to compromise your boundaries. You didn't have to compromise your faith. And your relationship with God. Pinaka-importante.
And I had that moment also with Juancho, you know, where I was like, I love this guy. Parang because I learned to prioritize my love for the Lord, in-unfold ni God yung love ko for Juancho in a beautiful way.
That's nice.
Isn't that beautiful that he was willing to go to church with me? He was willing to go to church by himself to, you know, grow in his faith, to get to know me more. And he's such a respectful, loving person that the first thing that we did, like, kasama yung family niya. First Christmas na parang mga 2 months pa lang kami magkakilala at sinama niya na ako kaagad sa family niya. Like, of course, you have to be attracted, diba, to the person that you want to marry. Ang maling polar o opposite naman is, basta kahit hindi ako attracted, kahit hindi ko siya enjoy kasama, basta na-follow ko tong steps na to, of course, hindi rin naman, diba? There has to be that kind of, what are lovers? Lovers are people who like spending time with one another.
I love that.
And Juancho was my lover, but only after I made sure na this was from the Lord. This is just a beautiful thing that God is giving me. So,
oh my goodness, big word, love. I was just learning that this morning. I was studying love. Well, there are different kinds of love, but ito yung question ko that came up right now. Nung nasabi mo na, oh my goodness, mahal ko na pala siya. How did you know it was love, like, that you're feeling towards your husband?
oh wow, that's a really good question. I knew that I loved my husband because I was ready to set my dreams aside in order to make the relationship work.
Oh, wow. That's
how I knew I loved
beautiful.
him. Kasi we're both working in TV. You know, I was pretty new in my network at that time. I had a lot of plans. Then, you know, I feel like a lot of people had a lot of plans for me. But I was ready. Like, I was ready to leave this all behind because I love this person so much. I also knew that when we got married kasi, so we got married 2019. Tapos 2020, siya yung gustong-gusto niya na kaagad magka-family. Because Watcha comes from a very healthy, loving, beautiful family. 5 sila magkakapatid. So, siya talaga parang sobrang excited niya magka-baby. Tara, mag-baby na tayo. Ayoko pa talaga kasi parang hindi, enjoy lang natin para makapag-work pa ako, para makapag-travel pa ako. And then when I was praying about it, I realized that, children are such a blessing. It's not going to be a hindrance for us to work or to travel or to achieve our dreams. If anything, the desire that my husband has should be a desire that I should also seriously consider or let my heart be occupied by. Because that's my husband. He's my beloved. He's the person that God has put as my leader, as my protector, as my provider, not only financially, but also spiritually, emotionally, everything. So if that's the case, and I believe that, and if I believe that the character of God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, then I can hold on to those promises, to who he is, and to my husband, and to who my husband is, and have the boldness to love him so much so that I'm willing to take this step of faith and start a family with him.
Wow, come on.
So I think that's how I knew that I loved Juancho, because I loved him for who he was. I loved him for the way that he loved God. I loved him because I knew that I was willing to sacrifice anything to make the marriage work, to make the relationship work. That, pag nag-aaway kami, na nagpe-premarital counseling kami, hindi siya away na, sige, bahala na maghiwalay na tayo. Away na, what common ground can we find to make this relationship work?
Yeah.
Or what does the Bible say about this specific topic? Is there a common ground where we can arrive at, where we're both, we're both gonna feel loved and contented?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And ang galing, no? Because it shows the picture of the kind of love that God has for us. Na parang you deny yourself for the sake of the other.
Yeah.
And self-denial. So that's beautiful. Pero some people might find it intimidating. Parang, pag nag-meet ba kami, dapat ma-feel ko agad yon yung love. So like, my question for you, Ate, is this. Was that a journey for you na you discovered lang your love for him, or has it always been there from the very beginning?
It was a journey, and I'll tell you, I'm more in love with my husband now than I was 6 years ago or 7 years ago that we started dating. It's funny because people always say na, the honeymoon phase will fade and things like that. But what I've realized, at least in many, many healthy marriages that I've seen, not only in ours by God's grace, but also in our friends' marriages, is that yung marriage nila goes sweeter over time. And I've experienced the same thing. Na, yes, love ko si Juancho na, pero yung joke nga namin palagi, yung vows natin na walang kwenta. Kasi parang, you have no idea what love actually is. Like, you think you love a person, but wait until they're pregnant, or wait until they're postpartum, wait until your spouse loses their job, wait until, you have your first big fight, wait until you guys are worrying about your house or whatever it is. Then that's when you'll know, okay, I really love this person because I want to prioritize our relationship and this person's well-being more than myself, because that's what love truly is. It's loving the other person, serving the other person, and putting the other person before yourself. That's what marriage is. Now, I'm not saying that that's something that you have to do when you're dating someone, lalo na for girls. I like what you said kanina, if that's okay if I share it, to hide your heart.
Yeah.
To ask God to hide your heart, no? Kasi the heart of a woman needs to be pursued.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love my husband so much, kasi he did that pursuing with so much grace and patience. Diba, dinidm niya ako since 2014. Tapos hindi ko siya pinapansin, pero hanggang 2018, nagpaparamdam siya. Tapos finally, nakuha niya yung number ko, nagkasama na kami, diba? But yun kailangan as ladies, you protect your heart. You let it be pursued. There's beauty in that. And I think that's the design of God talaga.
Yeah. One more question. So,
Yes.
because it's easier to understand pursuit as a woman.
Yes.
Pag single, okay, so someone's gonna pursue me. So now, how does being pursued looks like? How does it look like now that you're married?
It's so beautiful. It's even better. Kasi ngayon meron ng Panliligaw 101 ni Juancho. I don't know if you guys see that sometimes when he uploads it. But it would be something like, sige, you sleep in, I'll get the kids. We'll grab coffee so that when you wake up, there's fresh coffee for you. And then meron kang extra 1 hour of sleep. pursued in marriage now looks like, oh, siya yung magpaplano ng date namin for the week. Recently, we did a podcast episode about me going back to college, and I was telling him that, you're the reason why I felt empowered to do it because you always encourage me. And he said something in the lines of, when we talk about submission, sabi niya, it's not submitting just to a person. It's submitting to the mission.
Ooh.
So submission to my husband is submitting to the mission of the marriage, which is to glorify God, right? To glorify God and to love one another. That is the mission of our marriage. Sabi niya, when you wanted to finish your undergraduate degree, I made it our family's mission that you get to finish your college degree. When I signed up for a full marathon and I asked his permission, like, is it okay if I do this? Kasi alam kong mahihirapan din siya eh. Kasi gigising ako ng 2 a.m., tatakbo ako, tapos siya yung may iwan sa mga bata or kailangan niya mag-adjust kahit may taping siya, whatever. And he always says na whatever your dream is, it becomes my dream, it becomes our family's dream. And we submit to the mission of our family. We make it our family's mission. That's what happens when you marry someone who, by God's grace, loves the Lord. Not perfect, loves the Lord, will pursue your heart even in marriage. It won't look glamorous or big every time, but it's in those small moments of being loved. Of hearing my husband say, "You're so beautiful," when I'm like 30 pounds heavier and with an 8-month baby in my belly, it's really that. He's constantly pursuing my heart when I'm moody. Even the fact alone that my husband could be a stable person who's not emotionally responsive kaagad na yung emotions niya yung naglilid sa kanya, that in itself is pursuing me in the marriage because he's letting me process my feelings. He's letting me have those emotions. He's not reactive to those emotions, and he will be the stable anchor. And that's panliligaw, that's pursuing your heart.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It doesn't end. Kahit
It doesn't end.
Married na, even if you already have your kids. That's such a beautiful, beautiful picture of pursuit. So for my ladies over here,
girls, don't settle.
Don't settle. Wow. And now I don't want to settle. Hearing these stories.
But can I just share finally in this love story, I wasn't always like this.
Okay.
I was the type of person, as I've mentioned, who's like a serial dater, right? The only way that I was confident enough to not settle for less is because I knew my value in who God is.
Come on. Yeah.
I knew my value in Christ. So if I know who my master is and if I know who God is, then I know I don't need to settle because He has the best. So I don't have to set aside my standards or my desires or my boundaries because He knows the best and He has the best for me. And that's the only time that you can really be confident and say na, okay lang Lord, maghihintay ako. Or kung hindi man yan dumating, okay lang. Kasi mahal na mahal mo naman ako eh. Yeah.
Aw, hanggang dito na lang tong episode na to. But thanks for listening. Let's be friends. Click the follow or subscribe button. Leave a comment kung hindi ka busy. And follow us on IG at Medyo Seryosong Podcast. Ano ba yan? Ang daming utos. Bye!